Hi, everybody. I just wanted to give you a quick midweek update. Typically, as you know, Eric and I do these together, and Eric had planned to be here today, but then something came up, kind of a big college-wide sort of concern or initiative, and he was asked by one of our deans to kind of drop everything that he was doing this week and go participate on this initiative. And so, of course, he did. And so, you guys don't know this, and Eric is way too humble to ever say anything, but he's a pretty involved person at the Larimer campus and with online learning, and he's wears a lot of hats. He has a lot of different roles in addition to being a great instructor. And so he sometimes gets called away to do these really important college-wide tasks, and he does a great job on them. And so we are just going to keep moving ahead, forging on. And I will apologize because Eric and I had intended to get together for a few hours today and keep grading your Essay 3 papers, the letters to Jake. And we've gotten into them. I think we've graded a little less than a third of the class at this point. So some of you have already gotten your essays back, and others of you, I apologize. We are going to keep working on them. It's just going to take us a little more time than we thought because of some of these things that came up this week. So anyways, I will keep this short, and let me just give you a few quick updates. One is you may remember that I last week forgot to release week 11 on our usual Thursday or Friday release day, and so it didn't get released until I think Sunday night or Monday. And so because of that, I had posted a news board announcement letting you all know that the due dates for this week, I was pushing everything back by one day just for this week. And so if you look at week 11 here, you can see that the activity for database research, instead of it being due on Tuesday this week, it was due last night, which was Wednesday. The activity on utilitarianism is now due on Thursday, so that's tonight. And then the writing prompt, which has two parts. The first part is due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. So I've noticed today about 5 of you have already posted the first part of that, so that's great. And the rest of you have until Friday night to do so. The second part of this assignment that was due on Monday, April 13th, we are going to keep that deadline at Monday, April 13th, and that is your response to other people in that discussion board area. And that's because you had plenty of time to plan for that. And so sorry about that. I completely just forgot to check a box. And so thanks for all of you who emailed us to let us know that week 11 was not open on time. Okay, so some other things. In the quiz area, you've all completed a couple of activities recently. One of them was activity 13, which had to do with citing sources, specifically how to cite sources for essay number 3, your letters to Jake. And when I graded those earlier today, what I noticed, and some of you had emailed me about this, was that about 5 or 6 of you had trouble opening the screencast for that activity. It seems like everyone was able to open my screencast, which was the last one where I showed you how to cite Eric's textbook and so forth, but some of the other ones didn't get cited. And so, or I'm sorry, didn't get opened. And so I didn't dock you any points if you were unable to open those. That's not your fault. Those are tech issues and computer issues. And I just wanted to let you know that we do, looking for our class textbook right now around my office. I can't find it right now, but if you do flip to the back of your course textbook, there is some information on citing sources, building works cited pages. So you do have that information. And I would also say you can always search on Google, do a search for the OWL, OWL at Purdue, and that's a really credible site and will help you find just about anything you need to know when it comes to citing sources. And so those are a few resources available to you. But if you were one of those folks who wasn't able to watch all the screencasts and you do have questions about citing sources, please let me know. I'd love to help you figure that out. Let's see, activity number 15 had to do with database research, and I was trying to introduce you to that kind of academic research. Some of you will have done it before, and for some of you it is probably new. And I see that 21 of you have completed that activity, so I'm absolutely thrilled. It was due last night, so I'll be getting in there and grading those soon. I hope that that activity gave you the resources that you needed and the information you needed to feel confident about getting into a database and at least practicing and doing some searching. Once you get into the database, remember you needed to find an article that pertained to the kinds of things that we're talking about and reading about right now with egoism and utilitarianism. So those have started to trickle in, and I'm excited to see what kinds of research you're finding, because every semester I get to read all the stuff that Eric has found, but I really look forward to seeing what kind of interesting documents you find and bring to kind of shed more light and perspective on these topics that we're talking about. So I will look forward to getting into that writing prompt area and seeing what kinds of articles you have dug up for us. Okay, I also wanted to just thank you all for doing such a great job of digging into these ideas from chapter 4 on egoism and utilitarianism. I'm sorry, it would have been chapter 3, the end of chapter 3 on egoism and utilitarianism. I think that during this chapter, I'm reminded of what Eric talked about at the beginning of the semester, which was the importance of entertaining ideas in philosophy, because some of these ideas seem kind of out there or confusing. Somebody posted in the discussion board this week that, you know, some comment that Eric made, they said, this is the weirdest and most confusing thing I've ever discussed. And I just have to tell you, that's not the first time we've heard that in a philosophy class. Philosophy can definitely cause you to get really analytical and just to really drill down deeply with issues to a point where you start to confuse yourself even. And so if you're doing that hard work and you're really thinking through these issues that are somewhat foreign and somewhat uncomfortable, way to go. You're doing exactly what a philosopher would do. So Eric will probably take stock of all of your understanding as far as utilitarianism and egoism goes. I'm sure he's been looking at the activity for that, and you know, he's been very involved in the discussions last week and this week. And so if he has more that he wants to add on those topics, I'm sure he can send you an email with a screencast with some of that feedback for you. I just wanted to give you a preview, a heads up. Next week is week 12. We only have 4 weeks left of the semester. So next week we're going to get into something called feminist ethics. And then for the rest of the semester after that, we're going to look at Aristotle's virtue ethics, which is something we've been kind of peppering throughout the whole semester when we've been talking about virtues and so forth. And so those are both really exciting. And I'm eager to see what you think of those theories as well. So, so that's just kind of to point you forward and let you know where we're heading. There is one more written essay, I guess you can call it, but it's formatted a little bit differently in that it's more like an essay exam. So it's not something you have to get too worried about right now, but you definitely want to make sure that as we're moving through egoism and utilitarianism and feminist ethics and virtue ethics, that you have a basic understanding of all those theories, because for that last final writing assignment, we're going to ask you to apply all of those theories to a film that kind of brings in elements that are related to all of those theories. So if you're getting stuck, or if we're wrapping up the unit on egoism and utilitarianism and you still have questions or confusions, please do email me or email Eric with your thoughts, and we will do our best to help you work that out. So thanks, everybody. I hope you're having a great week.